Look, I think there's a technical description for what's going on, which is that Democrats have gone bat crap crazy.
That system is socialism.
That is why Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has introduced the Green New Deal. It's a watermelon. Green on the outside, deep, deep red communist on the inside. They want to take your pickup truck. They want to rebuild your home. They want to take away your hamburgers. This is what Stalin dreamt about but never achieved.
As far as those cows you mentioned, I've got 100 cows. You just let Alexandria Cortez show up at my house and try to take my cows away.
As you heard there, conservatives are using their national stage this week to decry so-called socialism and democratic extremism. And while she wasn't there, the star of the CPAC conference might have been freshman Democratic Congressman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, whose policies attendees reference time and time again. Still with us, Anita Kumar and Daniel Dale. So there seems to be an obsession, Anita, on the right with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And you reference a story that one of your colleagues wrote about why there's this obsession with her and why conservatives are actually quite in awe of her.
They really are. Yeah, my colleague wrote this really interesting story about how all these people on the right wish they were her. Now, they don't want her policies. They don't like her policies, but that they say she has political game, meaning she is determined and has this political spirit and is, you know, on social media. She's actually a lot like President Trump, taking on the media, and that sort of personality they really actually kind of admire. And so she really did kind of take over CPAC today and has for the last couple days.
Daniel, is she going to be their white whale? I mean, you heard Seb Gorka there saying that she's trying to take away your hamburgers, and Jerry Falwell Jr. saying she's going to take away my cows. Is that going to be effective? Do they believe that's going to be effective in 2020?
I think they do. I mean, I think the unmistakable signal from CPAC was that this socialism attack, you know, the Red Scare, the Red Menace, is going to be a primary, if not the primary line of attack for them through the Democratic primary, if not into the general election. I spoke to Democratic strategists and Democratic socialists today, and they kind of shrugged. They said, look, this is always their playbook, but it's come back with a vengeance. You know, I've been at CPAC for the last few years. There were probably some references to socialism, but it wasn't the dominant theme. And today and yesterday, it was the thing that they were talking about. So it's pretty interesting.
Well, talk to me about how CPAC has changed over the years, Daniel.
Well, in various ways. I mean, you know, there were times where it was this forum for sort of raucous debate among various elements of the right. In recent years, it became sort of Trump pack. I think he joked that it would be T-pack. You know, it was thoroughly taken over by Trumpian conservatism, which, you know, some traditional conservatives say is not conservatism at all. And then this year, it was again thoroughly taken over by Trump. But, you know, it was less about him and his accomplishments and what he plans to do going forward than about the menace posed by the Democrats. So I think that was a shift even from last year.
Anita, a lot of the plans that progressives on the Democratic side, Democratic socialists are proposing are quite popular when you poll them among everyday Americans, broadly supportive of tax reform, et cetera. Is it a good idea for Republicans to just laugh at her and make fun of her? Is that the effective way of trying to take her down?
Well, I think Daniel's right that they've actually been talking about this for years. If you'll remember, during President Barack Obama's term, they talked about this a lot. It seemed to have died down a little bit. And I remember on the campaign trail in the midterms, maybe that President Trump was starting to see some of these candidates for Congress. And so he really started talking about it. I mean, they definitely think this is an effective talking point. But you're right. Some of these policies are popular. You know, so it's a contrast that they want to make. Clearly, a lot of these Democratic candidates for president now are, you know, all kind of lumped together on some of these issues. So they're trying to make that contrast. So I think it's going to continue.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.